We begin, though, tonight, as we always do, keeping them honest, with the Arkansas school board official who shocked the nation. His name is Clint McCants. He's the school board vice president for Midland School District in eastern Arkansas. That's the picture we had of him from his Facebook page. He set off a national uproar when some of his Facebook postings about bullied gay kids and suicide were made public. Now, before hearing from Mr. McCants, I want you to hear what he wrote. He was apparently ticked off about a nationwide call by activists last Wednesday to wear the color purple in support of gay kids. The words, as you might imagine, are pretty rough to take. Seriously, he wrote, they want me to wear purple because 5 queers committed suicide. The only way I'm wearing it for them is if they all commit suicide. I can't believe the people of this world have gotten this stupid. He went on to say, and what you see is his spelling, not ours, we're honoring the fact that they sinned and killed themselves because of their sin? Really, people? Some who read his posting challenged him on the Facebook page, and he responded to them with this. It pisses me off, though, that we make special Purple Fag Day for them. I like that fags can't procreate. I also enjoy that they often give each other AIDS and die. Then he wrote, I would disown my kids, they were gay. They will not be welcome at my home or in my vicinity. I will absolutely run them off. Of course, my kids will know better. My kids will have solid Christian beliefs. See, it infects everyone. So those were the words that set off a storm among parents of kids who've been bullied, among parents who've lost children, gay and lesbian groups, and everywhere from Facebook to Arkansas. The school board condemned what Clint McCants said, but refused to call on him to quit. He's an elected official and under local laws can be removed for absenteeism, but apparently not for this. State officials in Arkansas also issued a condemnation, but they too did not ask him to resign. Then today, this from Federal Education Secretary Arne Duncan.
I can't tell you how shocked and frankly how angry I am by those statements. And we looked into it. This is an elected position. It's not an appointed position. But the question for Mr. McCants and the question for the community is he suitable to be in a position of educational leadership? And we have to question.
Do you think he is?
To question his suitability to. Well, if these statements are true that he said, and from everything I'm hearing, they are true, he has no business being an education leader in that school district. We're doing everything we can to stop bullying, to stop harassment, to make sure that all of our children can grow up free of fear, and to have an elected educational official spouting off that kind of hatred is absolutely unimaginable to me, Anderson, and I don't think he's suitable for that position.
Well, that was earlier today. Late today, we heard from a man named Stephen Blackwood. He's a suicide prevention counselor in Little Rock. His son Alex took his own life. He wasn't gay, but he wasn't bullied, but the loss, of course, was no different. Alex was just 19 years old. Moved by his own tragedy, wounded by what Mr. McCants said, and concerned about the effects of his words on other at-risk kids, Stephen got in his car to go see Clint McCants. This all took place today. Mr. McCants reached out to us a short time ago and said he wanted to talk. I interviewed him and Stephen Blackwood just moments ago. So, Clint, you've written some really terrible things. You called gay kids who killed themselves because of bullying fags and queers. You wrote that you like to see gay people die. Do you really hate gay people that much that you like to see them die?
Anderson, I made some very ignorant comments. Did not realize just how ignorant they were. I've went back and looked over at the. I would never support suicide of any kids. I don't support bullying of any kids. I posted that on down further in my post that I hated it, for those kids, that they felt so hopeless.
But you
that was the only place they had to turn.
But as you know, in the writing, you sound like a bully yourself. calling
yes,
kids fags and queers, those are the words of a bully.
I was, like I said, I used some really strong language that, and it wasn't correct, and it was too emotional. I don't. I've got 2 children myself, and I love them dearly. I've got a wife I love dearly. I don't agree with bullying in any shape, form, or fashion. I don't agree with it for any children. And the words I used were unfortunate, and they're, I should have picked different ones, but it can't be taken back. And all I can do now is extend my apologies for my poor speech.
What do you feel like you're apologizing for exactly?
It was over the top, Anderson. It was I just went too far with it. I don't really believe anyone should commit suicide. I don't feel that way.
I want to ask you just some of the specifics. Use those words like fag and queers. Are those words you use a lot, and do you think it's acceptable to use those words? Or do you understand why those words might hurt a gay kid in your school district, or a kid who's not gay but is being called those words? Sure. I completely agree with that. I know they're hurtful words, and like I said, I picked the wrong words to use, and used them poorly. I didn't bring honor to what I was about. Do you? Obviously you've thought about the words, and you've clearly reread this now. But do you have any idea of the pain that you may have caused, not just to families and friends of kids who've killed themselves, but the pain and fear you've caused to kids, maybe even your own school district, who are being bullied or who are gay or who don't feel safe telling anyone that they're gay?
Anderson, that's a what if. I don't know. I know it was like I said before, I know my statements were too harsh. I don't agree with the language I used. It was out of control, and it does look like I was that I'm a hate monger or I'm a horrible person, and that's not me at all. Because
you did say you like it when gay people get AIDS and die.
That was, Anderson, once again, that was in response to some comments that were made, and like I said, I used the wrong language completely.
But just for accuracy's sake,
I don't wish death on anyone.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask. Do you want gay people to die?
No, I don't.
There are some who are going to see this and say, okay, look, you're saying you're sorry, but are you just sorry that you got caught? If no one had said anything about this Facebook post, would you have reread it today and said, gosh, this was horrible?
Anderson, before this ever got to where it's at, I'd looked at it just because of some emails I had gotten, some posts on there. I like to take a look at myself, and I'm a big enough man to admit when I say something wrong or and I did this time. I made some pretty bad statements, and they were too strong.
One of the things we talked before we did this interview, we talked on the phone, and one of the things you said to me is, "This is not who I am." What do you mean by that?
Well, Anderson, like I said, I'm a father myself, and I love my children with all that I have. They're everything to me, and I really, I give everyone a chance and try to love everyone. But as my beliefs go, I still love everyone.
People listening to this are going to say, that's hard to believe given the kind of stuff you said. Why should someone believe you?
Right. Well, I'm sure everyone at some point in their life has made a statement hateful that they would take back if they could. People make mistakes all the time with their speech, and I'm sure lots of people have done that, if not everyone.
I understand from a local reporter said that a local reporter said he did talk to you briefly, and that, I don't know if it was today or yesterday, you told him that this had been blown out of proportion. Do you still think that this has been blown out of proportion?
I've not spoken with any reporters. You are the first news media that I've used. Do I think it's gotten out of proportion? To me, it has. When I'm getting, thousands of phone calls, hate mail, people threatening to kill my family, me, having to send my wife and kids out of state for their safety, install security systems, yeah, I think it's that end of it has gotten out of control.
Some of the, clearly the response to this isn't just because you said these words, it's because of who you are. You're the vice president on a school board. I mean, you oversee,
Right.
kids in your school district, and I think that's
Right.
clearly what's at the core of their reaction to this. Education officials in your state at all levels have condemned what you said. They said it doesn't reflect their values
Right.
and what they're trying to do in the schools. They said they can't fire you, but that you can resign. Are you going to resign from the school board?
I am going to resign from the school board. It is to help my community, to help my school. I don't want them to receive bad press or have a distraction because of some ignorant comments that I made. If they decide later, year, 5 years, 10 years from now to vote me back in, if my constituents want that, then I'll run again.
Clint, it's interesting what's happened to you, obviously, over the last 24, 48 hours. You've met a guy who came to see you today, who's actually with you tonight during this interview, who lost a son to suicide, wasn't bullied, his son wasn't gay, but his son was 19. And Stephen, why did you seek out Clint, or how did you hear about this?
Well, how do I feel about his Facebook comments?
No, how did you hear about it, and why did you seek Clint out?
I'm on the board with the American Foundation of Suicide Prevention here in Arkansas, and a field advocate for the National Office of Suicide Prevention, and I do a lot of work to raise awareness of suicide. And when my attention was brought to the Facebook post and I read it, I thought, this guy cannot mean what he's saying. Surely he doesn't mean this. And I had to find him. I thought either we have somebody who needs help, or he has said something that he needs to retract, because he has no idea the type of damage that he could be doing to people that may be contemplating suicide or struggling with emotions or depression that would suggest that it would be okay for them to go ahead and end their life.
So Clint, when Stephen showed up, I mean, he basically just kind of tracked you down. When he showed up, what do you think? And you clearly started talking to him. How did that impact you?
It's had a phenomenal impact on me. All this has been done in ignorance to the fact of the suicides. I had no idea, as I'm sure most people don't, how big an issue that suicide is in this country. I commend Stephen for being such a big man to do that. I think that speaks volumes for his character, to come up and find me and offer, to tell me about suicide and the dangers of it, and to sit here with me tonight, after his son's passed away, with the comments I made. I think Stephen saw something there that everyone else has skipped over. I think he, maybe somehow could tell I wasn't the monster I've been made out to be.
Clint, you also said in that Facebook posting about your own kids, and you said, and I quote, "I would disown my kids. They were gay. They will not be welcome in my home or in my vicinity. I will absolutely run them off. Of course, my kids will know better. My kids will have solid Christian beliefs. See, it infects everyone." Is that something you really believe, that because that's something also a lot of people have commented on, that if one of your kids felt they were gay, that you would run them off? Is that true?
I don't know what I would do yet. The time will tell.